This isn't a grand speech. It's not loud, and it's not trying to impress anyone. It's just honest. It's the kind of truth that doesn't rush, the kind that sits with you and waits until you're ready to feel it. This is for the love that didn't ask for perfection-only presence. For the moments we don't post, the silences that speak louder than words, the way too hard. Recognize each other without needing explanations. Love isn't always fireworks. Sometimes it's showing up when it's hard. Sometimes it's choosing one person again and again, even when the world is complicated. And tonight, this is my choice. This is for you, my love. Not because I had to say it, but because I couldn't keep it inside anymore. This is for you, my love, and I say that without drama, without trying to dress it up into something bigger than it is, because the truth doesn't need decoration. It just needs to be spoken. I've learned that the most important things in life usually arrive quietly. They don't knock hard. They don't announce themselves. They sit beside you, steady and patient, waiting for you to notice. That's how you came into my life. Not like a storm, not like a movie scene, but like something familiar I didn't know. I'd been missing until it was there. I don't believe love is about perfection. I've never trusted the idea that two flawless people find each other and live without cracks. Real love happens in the spaces where we're unfinished. It happens when we show up tired, uncertain, carrying the weight of who we've been and who we're still trying to become. And somehow, instead of turning away, we stay, we listen. We learn the language of each other's silence. That's the kind of love. I mean, when I say this is for you, there are days when the world feels loud, when everything pulls us in different directions, when expectations stack up and the noise makes it hard to hear our own hearts. In those moments, love isn't a feeling that sweeps you off your feet. It's a decision. It's choosing to stay gentle when it would be easier to pull back. It's choosing honesty over comfort. It's choosing one person, even when the world offers distractions disguised as excitement. I've realized that loving someone doesn't mean always knowing the right words. Sometimes it means sitting in the quiet and letting that be enough. Sometimes it means admitting you don't have answers, only intentions. I don't promise to always be perfect for you. I promise to be present. I promise to try, even on the days when trying feels heavy. I promise to meet you where you are, not where I wish you'd be, love. To me, is found in the ordinary moments we rarely talk about. The way time slows when you're near. The way a simple look can say more than a paragraph ever could. The comfort of knowing there's someone who sees you fully and doesn't ask you to be smaller or louder, different or easier. Just real. Just you. That kind of love doesn't fade with time. It deepens. It settles into your bones. I think we spend too much of our lives waiting for proof. Proof that we're enough. Proof that we're chosen. Proof that the feeling is mutual. But real love doesn't always come with guarantees. It comes with risk. It comes with vulnerability. It asks you to place your heart in someone else's hands and trust they'll be careful even when they're human, even when they're learning. This is for you because you taught me that love can be calm, that it doesn't have to hurt to be real. That passion doesn't always mean chaos. Sometimes it means consistency. Sometimes it means showing up every day, even when nothing exciting is happening, even when the magic feels quiet. Especially then, I see love as a promise we renew without saying it out loud. In the way we listen instead of interrupt. In the way we choose kindness during misunderstandings. In the way we protect each other's hearts when no one else is watching. That's where love lies, not in grand gestures, but in the small, almost invisible choices that shape a life together. There are parts of me that were guarded long before you arrived. Parts that learned to stay silent, to expect less, to protect themselves by not hoping too much. You didn't force those walls down. You didn't demand entry. You waited. You were patient. And somehow, that patience became the safest place I'd ever known when I said, this is for you. I mean, it's for the way you make the world feel less heavy. For the W.I. You remind me that being strong doesn't mean being closed off. For the way love can exist without trying to control, without trying to own. Just two people walking side by side, choosing each other in a world that constantly tries to pull them apart. I don't believe love is something we find once and then forget about. I think it's something we practice, something we return to, something we protect. It grows when we nurture it with honesty, with patience, with forgiveness. It weakens when we take it for granted. So I choose to pay attention. I choose to notice you. I choose to keep my heart open. Even when it feels easier to shut it down, there's a quiet courage in loving deeply. It means accepting that nothing meaningful is guaranteed. It means understanding that time is fragile and moments matter. It means saying what you feel before fear convinces you to stay silent. That's why I'm here, saying this now, without waiting for the perfect moment, because love doesn't need perfect timing. It needs truth. This is for you on the days when you doubt yourself, on the days when the world makes you question your worth, on the days when you feel unseen. Love isn't about fixing someone. It's about standing with them while they find their own strength. And I stand with you, not ahead of you, not behind you, but beside you. I've learned that love isn't measured by how intense it feels in the beginning, but by how steady it remains when life tests it, when routine sets in, when why replaces fantasy, when choices matter more than feeling. That's where real love reveals itself, not in the sparks, but in the endurance. This is for you because loving you feels like coming home to myself, like remembering something I forgot along the way, like understanding that the greatest gift isn't being loved loudly, but being loved honestly. And in that honesty, there is freedom. There is peace. There's a quiet kind of forever that doesn't need to be promised out loud. This is for you, my love, because choosing you was never about certainty. It was about clarity. The world teaches us to wait until everything makes sense, until the future's predictable, until nothing can go wrong. Life doesn't work that way. It never has. The truth is, nothing important comes with guarantees. Love especially. Love asks you to decide without knowing the ending, to step forward without seeing the whole road, to trust someone not because the world is safe, but because your heart recognizes something real. We live in a time where options are endless and commitment feels optional, where people are taught to keep one foot out the door just in case something better comes along. The love isn't about finding better. It's about choosing deeper. It's about looking at one soul and deciding that this is the place you're willing to stand, even when the ground shifts, even when the weather changes. I didn't choose you because life promised to be easy. I chose you because in a world full of noise, you felt honest. And honesty matters more than perfection. It matters more than excitement that fades or words that sound good but don't hold weight. Loving you isn't about escaping uncertainty. It's about facing it together. There's a difference between being alone and being independent. There's a difference between freedom and avoidance. Choosing one person doesn't mean losing yourself. It means discovering which parts of yourself are worth sharing. It means deciding that depth is more valuable than endless possibility. That connection is more meaningful than constant comparison. The world tells us not to settle. Loving someone deeply isn't settling. It's anchoring. It's saying, I don't need everything. I just need something real. And real love isn't flashy. It's steady. It doesn't demand attention. It earns trust slowly, quietly. Over time, I see uncertainty everywhere, in careers, in plans, in tomorrow. Nothing stays fixed for long. People change. Circumstances change. Even we change. And still, love can remain, not because it's frozen in time, but because it adapts, because it grows, because it's chosen again and again, not out of habit, but out of intention. Choosing one soul means accepting their contradictions, their light and their shadows, their strength and their fears. It means understanding that love doesn't erase struggle, but it gives struggle meaning. It means knowing there will be days when it's easy and days when it's work. Deciding that both are worth it. I didn't fall in love with an idea. I fell in love with a person, with your imperfections, with your pauses, with the way you carry the past without letting it define you completely. Loving you isn't about escaping reality. It's about standing firmly inside it together. There's courage in saying, this is enough for me. Courage in resisting the urge to keep searching when what you found already feels true. Courage in staying when leaving would be simpler, because staying asks something of you. It asks patience. It asks humility. It asks you to grow instead of replace. I think people confuse uncertainty with danger. But uncertainty is just life being honest, and love that survives honesty is love that lasts. Choosing you means accepting that there will be unanswered questions, that not every fear will disappear, that some days will feel heavy, and still believing that what we build together is stronger than what we fear apart. I don't want a love that exists only when everything aligns. I want a love that exists when plans fail, when timing is wrong, when life interrupts. I want a love that doesn't run from discomfort, but learns how to sit with it. That's the kind of love I choose with you. The world encourages us to keep our hearts guarded, to protect ourselves from disappointment. But love isn't safe by design. It's brave. It asks you to open your chest and say, this matters to me. And choosing one person in an uncertain world is one of the bravest things you can do. didn't choose you because I was fearless. I chose you because you were worth the risk. Because even on uncertain days, the thought of walking away felt heavier than the fear of staying. Because loving you felt like alignment, not escape. There's something grounding about commitment. Not the kind that feels like a cage, but the kind that feels like a foundation. When you know where you stand, you don't have to keep proving yourself. You don't have to perform. You get to be real. And real is where love grows. I choose you knowing we'll both change, knowing that the people we are now won't be exactly the same people we are years from now, but love isn't about freezing time. It's about growing in the same direction, even when the pace is different, choosing. One soul means trusting that connection can deepen instead of expire, that love can mature instead of fade. That familiarity doesn't kill romance, but gives it roots. That excitement doesn't have to disappear. It just learns a quieter language. I don't want endless beginnings. I want continuity. I want shared history. Inside jokes that don't need explaining, glances that carry years of understanding. Love that doesn't reset every time life gets hard in a world that celebrates. Independence, choosing someone, doesn't mean losing strength. It means sharing it. It means knowing that two people don't weaken each other by standing together. They steady each other. I choose you not because the future is clear, but because my intention is. Because when I imagine uncertainty, I'd rather face it with you than face certainty alone. Because love isn't about predicting outcomes. It's about committing to effort. There will always be reasons not to choose someone. Fear is creative like that. It always finds excuses, but love finds reasons. And the reason is simple. You matter to me enough to stay, enough to try, enough to keep choosing you even when the world suggests keeping options open. I don't want a life made of exits. I want a life made of depth, of staying long enough to understand someone beyond the surface, of choosing one soul and learning all its seasons. This is for you because loving you feels intentional, not accidental, not temporary. It feels like a decision I make with my whole self, not just my emotions. And in a world that keeps shifting, that decision feels like something solid. I can stand on. Choosing you doesn't mean I don't see the uncertainty. It means I don't let it decide for me. It means I believe love isn't about control, but about trust. Trust that even when we don't have answers, we have each other. I don't want to live a life constantly wondering what if. I want to live a life that says what is and chooses it fully. And what is you, not as a perfect solution, not as a guarantee, but as a partner, as a presence. As a soul I'm willing to walk beside even when the path isn't clear. This is for you because in an uncertain world, choosing one soul isn't limiting. It's liberating. It frees you from the endless search. It anchors you in meaning. It gives love a direction instead of leaving it scattered. I choose you. Today, not because today is easy, but because love doesn't wait for easy, it waits for honest. And this choice is honest. Made without conditions. Made without promises that sound goo. But can't be kept. Just a steady decision to keep showing up, to keep choosing depth over distraction. Presence over possibility, you over the noise of everything else that tries to pull attention away. And in that choice, there is a quiet strength, a grounding truth, a sense of alignment that does shout but stays steady and certain in the middle of uncertainty, reminding me that love isn't about knowing the future. It's about deciding who you want beside you while you walk into. Even when the road bends, even when the light fades, even when the answers don't come right away, because some choices aren't meant to solve life. They're meant to give it meaning. Choosing you is one of those choices that keeps unfolding, deepening, grounding, teaching me. That commitment isn't the absence of freedom. It's the presence of intention. And intention is what turns love from a feeling into a direction I keep choosing again and again, without needing certainty, without needing applause, without needing the world to agree, because this choice is quiet, personal, rooted, and real, and it continues in the way I stay, the way I listen, the way I reach for you, even when uncertainty whispers doubt. Because love isn't about silencing uncertainty, it's about moving forward with it, hand in hand, choosing connection over isolation, depth over escape, one soul over endless options, and letting that choice keep shaping. The days, the nights, the pauses in between where love doesn't end, doesn't resolve, doesn't conclude, it simply keeps becoming.